MoneyBart is the third episode of the 22nd season of The Simpsons, directed by Nancy Kruse and Mike B. Anderson. And I quite enjoyed this. There was a point where I thought, I don't know what exactly they're trying to do with this, but it all became very clear. Lisa ends up taking over as manager for the baseball team that Bart and his friends play for. And she has a good approach, a very scientific approach, and they seem to be doing really well. But then Bart gets kicked out of the game. And this is partly because Bart doesn't want to listen to her technical approach. He wants to just play for the fun of it. He wants to win, but he wants to play in a way that's freeing and liberating and exciting and full of unpredictability. And Lisa wants to play in a way that means they'll win by calculation. And there are two very opposing messages here that help to show that there are different sides to sport depending on where you're coming at it. And it kind of made me feel like you can't have it all, you have to pick one or the other. I don't know if that's technically true, but there are two messages. The first message is that if you want to win, it might be possible to apply science and do it in a way that's very technical and very methodical. And that might help with winning, if winning is the most important factor, but it might suck all of the fun out of the game. The other message is that if it's more important to have fun and enjoy yourself, then go for it without, relying on books and statistics, but you might not win. And there are two opposing messages there that kind of support both sides. It's also, there's a message there about how it's important to listen to your manager, but Bart doesn't do that. But ultimately what happened with Bart's story, I think, helped to deliver the message that, again, if you want to win, you need to listen to your manager. So it depends on where your priorities lie. And I think that's probably true with most team sports. There are ways to do things that can be quite technical, and if you look at the statistics, you might be able to map out a very scientific way of playing the game. But do you really want to play the game if you have to do everything by a specific set of scientific rules rather than just going out there and feeling the breeze and doing what comes natural? And I think it was an interesting conversation to have within the episode. I thought the baseball scenes played out really well. I enjoyed the characters that were on the team. I thought it was quite interesting to see Lisa in this role as well, and she definitely gave it the Lisa touch. She definitely did it her way. I think it was kind of predictable in that way, but it had the most moving ending of any Simpsons episode, or one of the most moving endings, but I won't spoil it. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good and definitely provided some food for thought. We also have one of my favourite Flanders quotes, and that is, "It's a Flanders sandwich with great neighbour bread." Okay, Ned. Well written, well animated, some conflicting messages, but in a way that helps to show that there are different ways of approaching things depending on what your end goal is. And I think that that's quite accurate. I think a very accurate portrayal for life as well. Sometimes you have to pick a side. Do you want to do things following statistics, or do you want to do things in a way that's maybe more spontaneous? It kind of sucks because ideally you'd have everything. You'd have the statistics, you'd win that way, and you'd also be able to play the game in a way that's the most enjoyable. But that's life, I guess, and it really helps to show that. Either way, definitely an episode that I quite enjoyed.